17:6. More of my opinions and my beliefs. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I like to give you bits and pieces of information at a time, and sometimes I'll repeat myself because I'm trying to get you to not only absorb it, but I'm trying to get you to remember it. So, this is why sometimes I will repeat myself and in different recordings and whatnot is, or even in the same recording is because I'm trying to get that thought and plant it into your head so that you remember what I said. And then I'll give it to you in bits and pieces as well because I don't want to overwhelm you with too many things. So I like to give you a little bit of here, this, and then I'll jump to something else and give you a little bit of there. Plus, like I've told you before, this is the way my mind works. So I kind of like layer on the knowledge, I guess you could say. But I want to get back to that welfare program again because I'm really upset about this welfare program. Just like the welfare program, the Social Security program, all their programs, everything, man. I mean, I'm just upset with it all because the way they have twisted this government all up to suit their own selves and put money in their pocket and just literally murdering people by the thousands and millions to keep doing so. So, I mean, come on, let's do the breakdown of this. Let me give you an example. For an example, say if somebody made $850 a month, okay? Now say that their rent, if you're lucky, if your rent is like $200, but say you get a place that has the rent, utilities, and everything included, and it might depend on the area or whatnot. I ain't quite figured that part out yet, but it ain't right no matter how you figure it because. Say like if you got $850 a month coming in and you get a place that costs $450, but it includes all your utilities and everything, but if you don't have that broke down on an itemized list of what you're paying for, you're only going to get like 16, 15, $16 a month in food stamps to supposedly buy your food with. Okay. Another thing is so if you take and you put down that you're paying $200 for rent and you're paying so much on electric and you're paying so much towards the heat and whatnot, bills that they actually calculate because they don't calculate all your bills like I told you before, then you hit a scoring system is what it is. Well, I know what it is. Let's just put it that way. You hit a scoring system as it is, what it is, and you gotta hit so many different points off of each item in order to score what you're going to get in benefits. So, say somebody that's paying $450 with everything included might only get $15, $16 a month in food, but somebody that's paying $200 in rent a month and say $50 a month in electric and $50 in heat and whatnot and so forth like that, then they're going to score a higher point and they're going to get $144 a month in food stamps for one person. That's a month. Now, like I said before, if you're a family unit, say you got you, your wife, and six children, and something happens and you have to go on this welfare program, you have six children, okay, and say you're making $850 a month, well, they're only going to allow you $500 to $600 a month in food stamps. Okay, so which ain't really a whole lot when you're trying to feed eight people a month, and then you only got 800 and something dollars, and you got to take your rent out, of course, So say if you take $850 and you take $450 out for your rent and your bills, it's going to leave you $400. Okay, so now you got $400 to do everything else you have to do that month with. I mean, everything. I mean, you got to take your kids to school, your gas, you got to buy their clothes, you got to buy their needs that they need, you got to buy your cleaning supplies and your toiletry and your beauty supplies and whatever else. And I mean, if You'll be lucky if you can even put insurance or even own a car because they don't allow for that. They don't allow for you. So if say you like I told you before, you work 30 years and then one day you go to work and the factory's closed down because this has happened to people that I've known, and then 30 years is down the drain. It's gone. Everything they've worked for their entire life is now gone because this factory went bankrupt. Well, everything that they owned was based around their income that they had made at this so-called job that was supposed to be there with a retirement plan and whatnot, but they went bankrupt. So now you don't even got a retirement plan anymore because they don't got to pay it to you anymore. So you work 30 years for nothing. You got all this stuff that you bought because of the money you made at this factory. So you set your budget around your income. That's what everybody does. And they need to teach us more stuff in school, how to do budgets and incomes and what credit and all that stuff's about. If they're going to use this system, they need to educate their kids how to use it because most of them come out of school and don't have a clue. So anyway, now you got all these famous. Well, now, they're not going to help you pay all this stuff because they don't care that you've worked your entire life to own all this stuff. All they care about, oh, well, you have assets. Well, we can't help you. You start selling all your stuff off and pay for your stuff. We're not going to help you. So they don't even help you. Like I told you, until you sell everything, basically, you own, except for maybe your housing and stuff. And nowadays, you have to sign that over. Well, let me explain something. This is what I'm getting to. Now, like I've told you before, everybody pays in to the welfare program. Everybody pays into the Social Security program. It comes out of every paycheck that you make, regardless if you get paid by the week, bi-weekly, monthly, every 3 months, every 4 months, once a year. However you get paid, a percentage of that money that you pay in out of all them taxes they charge you for everything and give you nothing back for, basically. You pay into the welfare program. You pay into the Medicaid. You pay into the Medicare. You pay into Social Security. But yet, when you get on Social Security, say you got $850 roughly a month coming in. If you don't go on welfare to get Medicaid assistance, then the Social Security Administration takes $150 basically out of that $850, leaves you with $700 basically. Actually, it's more like it's a dollar under there, but I'm just rounding it off. So basically, leaves you with $700. Now you got to live on $700. You got to pay your rent. You got to pay all your bills. You got to try to buy a decent car to drive, unless you go drive a piece of junk, that puts everybody in danger. And then try to pay for your insurance, And then if you even try to go out, and you're allowed to make a little extra income. You're allowed to make a little extra income a month, they tell you, but this, and you even got a back to work program or whatever, but you're not allowed to make so much a month, supposedly, a little extra income. But if you go over that amount, like I know a person, they went over the amount they were supposed to make. So because they went over that amount 1 week, they had to pay back $60,000 to the Social Security Administration. They had to pay back the father had to pay back $25,000 that his son had received from her benefits to the Social Security Administration. So because they made 1 week, they made more than what they were supposed to make on a job they were told they could have. They had to pay back $85,000 just for going to work. And then they wonder why people don't try to go back to work, because a lot of people are too scared to, because if you can't do it and they take your money away, what's going to happen? And then they do this back to work program where they trick you into doing that because, when you're disabled and stuff, you're not supposed to be able to work. So if you go on this back to work program, you just basically told them that you frauded what you told them. But anyway, you got 9 months to go and get back to work program and get back to work. And for some, that's for people that could actually go back to work, because some people don't have a lifetime disability. They only have a temporary disability. That's what that's designed for. But they want you to believe it's for everybody, and that's not what it's designed for. Okay, and then I don't want you to understand this. Nothing's a free handout. We pay for everything. They're the only ones that get the free handout because we pay for them. We pay everything. We pay their huge corporations that they own. We pay their banking system, all these high rates and everything. We pay for everything. Taxes for everything. Taxes, tax that, blah, blah, blah. Like I told you, fees, fines, and penalties and interest. And we pay everything out of what little bit of money that they allow us on this minimum. Not fair wage, minimum wage. So now you're paying into the Social Security all your life, and you're paying into this welfare program, and you're paying into Medicaid, and you're paying into Medicare. Okay, well, let's look at all the people that die from accidents. Let's look at all the people that die from being murdered. Let's look at all the people that die in these wars that they send our children to die in all the time for this stupid shit so they can make more money and kill more people. I mean, so let's look at all the people that never, ever, ever, or commit suicide, that never, ever, ever make it to collect their benefits. Look at all the people that, like, I've known people, they've worked their whole entire life 30, 40 years, 50 years, some of them, before they try to claim their benefits, and then they only live a year, if that. I know a guy that worked his whole entire life, and then when he retired and claimed his Social Security money, he got one check and then had a heart attack and died. So they got all the money that all these people that are dying, getting in car accidents, falling down the stairs, breaking their neck. I mean, there's multiple accidents people die from. There's multiple wars people die from. There's multiple kinds of homicides people die from. There's multiple types of suicides that people die from. Thousands of millions of people die that pay into these programs that never collect a penny, and some only collect a few bucks. Some might collect a day, some might collect a few weeks, some might collect a few months, some might collect a year, some might never collect at all because they died before it ever came to that point. So where is all that money going? That's getting paid in but never gets paid back out because these people never live to see it. And they're trying to say that they don't have no money in there. Well, they don't have no money in there. It's because they're stealing it. That's why they don't have no money in there. It's because they're filling their pockets just like they always do. Everything is a scam. We shouldn't even have a welfare program. We wouldn't even need a welfare program if we had honest people in control of our country, if we had honest people in control of the government. But when you've got nothing but corrupted criminals running everything, of course you're going to be the slaves. You are always going to be the slaves until you wake up and realize the reality is you're being screwed. And I'm going to tell you every day if I have to. I don't care. I can get on here and I can run my mouth forever. It don't matter to me. I got plenty of stuff to talk about. If not, I'll just sit here and ponder up something to think about. And you sit there and, think about some stuff too. I want to give you time. I'll pause because anybody that gives a good talk when they're talking to people, they'll give pauses in between their speeches because they want you to think about what they just told you. They want time to set in so you understand what they're trying to tell you. Let it sink in a little deeper, you know. And if they want what my government designed, because like I told you, my PAN plan, that's just now listen, that's just a basic rough design of only a few points. That's not the whole entire thing. That's just a brief description of some of the things that I want to change to give you an idea that things don't have to be the way that they tell you they have to be. You know, we've got so much technology that we could use that we don't need to have any of these fossil fuels or coals, or we don't need none of that stuff. We don't need nuclear power. We never needed any of that stuff. That's just more stuff to make people sick, destroy the planet, and to make them fill their pockets with this pretend riches that they created. Because in the old days it used to be the trading routes, and everybody would trade and barter. Trade and barter, same thing, it's a different word. But everybody would trade back and forth for what they wanted. I grow this, they grow that. This one raises this one raises that. Everybody traded, and everybody had everything of what everybody had, because that's the way it was. Well, when these guys, like I told you, when they first came in and started taking control of everything, originally it started out that they were taking, half of your crops, and half of whatever you hunted, and half of whatever you fished out of the seas and oceans and rivers and lakes and whatnot, and half of anything that you gathered from the forage from the woods, and half of anything you made. They took it in the form of that. But after population kept growing and growing and growing, and it got to be to where there was just too much food and stuff to set in their vaults, and it was just going to waste. You know, so instead of taking less, because they never take less, they always want more. So then they created this currency to come up with. So this way they could store the currency in their vaults and it not go to waste. And they could still take half of everything you make. And now they take even more than half. And, you know, originally, supposedly, a lot of people came over here from England to get away from the taxes. Well, nowadays, America has more taxes than England does. So, I mean, that's just all lies. It was all a lie. I mean, you are ruled by England. You are ruled by the British Empire. Your government is the British Empire. Your American flag is the exact same color as the British Empire. Your eagle is the same as the British Empire. Get a clue. And guess who the British Empire is? If you break it all down, take it all the way back, it's the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Hebrews, however you want to put it, they're all the same people because they change their names just like we do. They're everywhere. A long time ago, they infiltrated all your mega churches. They infiltrated all your banking systems. They created your banking systems, really, but they infiltrated everything, man. I mean, they're in everything and they control everything. They're in your government. They're everywhere. You know, like I told you about Louis Luciani the other day or whatnot. But look at this, take like the terrorists, all these terrorists and stuff that they say that are attacking us. Say like the Taliban. Well, you know, originally, like I told you, like with Louis, how they hired Louis people and trained them how to be armies and gave them weapons and funding to do strategic attacks against Germans and whatnot. Well, they've done the same thing with the people from the Taliban and stuff. Those people all used to work for us too. So why can't you people see that all these people that they're training to be soldiers and everything are the ones that are attacking us and supposed to be the bad guys, but yet we're the ones that supplying them with the weapons and training them and funding them? Why can't you see this? It's been this way throughout your whole entire history. Even your fake history tells you it's this way. Because, you know, they can't cover up everything because, you know, there are people out there that actually understand what the fuck they are looking at when they see it. Not everybody's freaking ignorant. Just a lot of people are ignorant, I guess, because how could you not see what's going on? How can you not understand what this is? How can you turn a blind eye to children? Any children. I don't care what color they are. They are children being put in cages by monsters. And you're allowing it. That makes you a monster. Well, this guy is pissing everybody off. You think America is badass? You think America is the most baddest thing that ever was in the whole entire world? Well, guess what? You are one country surrounded by hundreds of countries. You better be careful because one country against the entire world coming down on our asses is not going to save your ass when it comes to that point because this dude is pissing everybody the frick off. Everybody. He doesn't have a clue on how to run a government. None of these people have a clue on how to run a government because, you know what, government shouldn't even be in there. It should be a kingdom with kings and queens in charge like it always was because that's the way the Creator wanted it. But no, these people took over the churches and they put their own people in charge. Jesus. Time for a change, and its time is now. I mean, you're destroying this planet, and if you can't open your damn windows and curtains and your doors and walk outside and take a look up in the sky and see all the chemtrails from the jets and see all the black pollution floating over, those ain't clouds, that's pollution. Look at the dead fish washing up on the shore. Look at all the dead stuff laying everywhere. Come on. Gee. It's sad, man. It's sad. That's all I can say. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's sickening. It's mind-boggling, to say the least, why anybody would allow these monsters to destroy my fucking garden. You destroyed my garden. This whole entire world was a garden. a garden, and you destroyed it. You allowed these monsters, and you're still allowing these monsters to destroy my garden. It's time to stand up. It's time to pull your fucking pants up and wipe that KY jelly off the back of your ass and get a backbone. Because whether you like it or not, it's your back supporting this world. It's your labor supporting this world. It's your sweat, your blood, your back-breaking labor that puts their money in their vaults, that fills their pockets, that puts the gold toilets under their ass and the fancy rich paintings on their walls. It buys them their fancy cars. It buys them their mansion. It buys them their yachts. It buys them their damn jets. Get a clue. Needs to be stopped. We need to get rid of all the vehicles that we have now and start over with electric vehicles ran off of solar power, or we could run them off of hydrogen. But guess what? Everything that's environmentally safe, they want to outlaw, and everything that destroys this planet, they want to make legal. Just like what they did with the damn the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. I mean, they destroyed the Environmental Protection Agency. What little bit of protection we had for the planet, and we were trying to turn this thing around to fix it. They come in and wash it all up and screw it all up so they can make more money, so they ain't got to worry about spending money on making it clean. Wow. Ignorance. Ignorance is all it is. Your whole civilization, your society is full of ignorance and cowards. I mean, they get up there and run their mouth. How many times I got to tell you, they can run their mouth and they can show their attitude and they can swear and they can stomp around and their face turns red like they're real angry. And then they go running behind closed doors with all their family and everything and point their finger for your dumbasses to go die for them. And you think it's an honor. That's how brainwashed you are. You think it's an honor to go send your children, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your aunts, your uncles, your fathers, your whatever, off to war while these cowards hide behind closed doors. And you think that's an honor. That's how brainwashed you are. You think that you're supposed to go to work every day and make nothing. You think you're supposed to live a miserable life. You think that starving people around the world is acceptable. It's acceptable. Why would you think this? You think that having people going in and murder children and grinding them up inside of grinders and, like they sent ISIS, which was another government-funded thing, and like I told you, another slam. But yeah, sent them in and supposedly killed 250 English children and threw them in giant bread meters or whatever and crushed them all up or whatever. I mean, come on. And these people, and you can't just surround a circle around these people and close in and take them out. What a joke. Give me a break. There's no reason why we got to have wars that goes on for years. If you really had a group that's doing this stuff, you could surround them and go in there. I mean, they're going in there and doing all this stuff. Everybody knows what they're doing. And I can't understand why none of these towns and villages are not, arm yourselves. Stick up for yourselves. They come riding into your damn town like they're just the king shit, driving their Jeeps and whatever, drive right into the center of the town. Why don't you guys have lookouts to see when they're coming? And then when they drive into the center of the town, have your people all up on top of these buildings surrounding them, and then you'd be like shooting fish in a barrel. Come on. No, you just sit there and wait for them to rape your women, rape your children, sell them on the selling block, and let them murder you one by one like cowards. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. You people, you need to all stop this. We need to just all band together, 99%. Just all band together and get these damn criminals out of our civilization once and for all. Every damn hater, every damn racist, every damn womanizer, every damn criminal there is. I mean, every thief, every pedophile, every everything. I mean, we need to get these corrupted people out of control. We need to put them in prison where they all belong and let the innocent people free because the innocent people are paying for this madness. It's all a big game. You know, like you don't understand. Like I told you before, they got 30,000 guillotines that they had ordered. You know, because they're planning. You know, they could chop 1,000 people's heads off a day per guillotine. I guess is the estimates. That's 30,000 people a day they could whop off heads up. Also, you don't know for the last 10 years or more that I know of, we've got people everywhere. Like I told you, we got people in the military and everything. Well, they've been they've been creating these giant, massive grave sites that can hold 20 and 30,000 bodies at a time. And these coffins hold 4 to 6 people, depending on the size of the people, for each coffin. And they're going to whop people's heads off, start throwing them in these coffins, start burying them. But a lot of them are being put in these containers and shipped over to China now instead of being buried. So, you know, you wonder where all these homeless people and stuff are disappearing to. Well, take a clue. And guess what? They're not. They're just starting there. They're going to do it with everybody because, like I said, they wanted to kill over 7 billion people on the planet. That is you, the 99% of the poor. You better get a clue. They're building walls, throwing children in the cages, throwing families in the cages because they have a different religion or a different color, because they have a permanent suntan, because the vitamin D in the sun changed their color, because of their diet changed their DNA and made them a different shape and structure, and the environment they grew up in and lived in changed their structure. You gotta treat them different because you're too ignorant to understand this. Wow. Your society is lost. Your civilization is lost. And it always has been. I mean, I don't know how many times we've tried to help you over and over and over and over and over. And we'll always be here because this is what we were designed for. We love you. We love you beyond anything else. Even our own lives, we love you beyond all that. That's why we put our lives in danger on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis, on a second basis. Anytime somebody could just put a bullet in one of us or blow us up or whatever, it don't matter. They got so many different ways they kill us. And you guys just buy into it all. It's like I kind of messed up the other day when I said when Shakespeare said, well, it wasn't really a show, although the show does play on top of it. But Shakespeare actually said, all the world is a stage, which means it's all the big show. And I kind of left the stage part out, so I have to apologize for that part. But yeah, all the world is a stage, and you're all watching a big giant show that these people are creating for you to believe this is what your reality is. And this is not what your reality is. Your reality is something completely different. And before I can give you what you should have and teach you what you should know, you got to start wanting it first. You got to listen and you got to grow and you got to know that what I'm telling you is true. And it is simple as listening with your ears and opening your eyes and seeing what's happening. I mean, even though they twist everything into lies and everything, there are, like I tell you, there are truths in every lie. And you just got to be intelligent enough to know what the truth is and figure out what the opposite of their lie is actually what the real truth is on top of that. So, I mean, it's not that hard, people. I mean, you just gotta, blow that dust out of your ears or whatever it takes, fire up them gears inside your brain, and squirt some oil in there and smoke a fucking joint, whatever it takes to get them thoughts moving. Because that's another thing. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. Now that little thing I was telling you about the Boston Tea Party and the opium being thrown in the sea. Well, actually, China, they want you to believe that that's kind of like Well, it's like anything, okay? Like anything. Some people can become addicted to some stuff, and other people don't become addicted to some stuff, okay? Um, and they want you to believe that this is a physical disease. But actually, in all reality, and I don't care anybody wants to tell you any different is wrong, it's a mental disease. It's not a physical disease. It's not the drug's fault that you're misusing it. Okay, that's your fault because you believe in your mind that you need it. Because I can tell you for the simple fact is well, gambling is an addiction. And when's the last time you seen somebody shoot up or snort up or smoke a casino? So sex is an addiction. And you don't smoke it, you don't shoot it, and you don't snort it up your nose. So there are plenty of things that people are addicted to that can show you, if you're intelligent and can understand, that this is a mental disorder because your brain controls everything in your body. Everything. So everything that your body thinks it needs comes from your brain. And why most of you psychologists and doctors don't understand this, I do not know because it's pretty simple. I mean, you know, get a clue if you can. It's your education, like I told you, but that's not your fault. So I'm not going down that road again. But anyway, yeah. Addiction is because you believe that you can't live without something. So that's a brain disorder. All there is to it. No, no, you guys need to figure out that your life could be so much better if you just got rid of these monsters that are destroying you all the time, that are controlling everything. And they're living like kings and queens. They they get whatever they want. And you suffer and you run around with their hats and their shirts on. Like freaking idiots. Yay! I'm happy to be a good slave. Look, I got your hat. I got your shirt on. Look, master, am I a good slave? Am I a good slave, master? Am I a good slave? That's what you are. That's it. That's it. That's wow. Yeah. I mean, brainwashing only goes so far, people. Come on. I mean, you must love being fucked. You must love going without. You must love being the shit on the bottom of their shoe because that's what you are. And they're ready to scrape you off permanently because they're tired of your stink. That's that. You can call me Absalom if you got a clue. We've been here forever trying to talk to you. Man, yeah. Oh, we need to make drastic changes. We need to make drastic changes. Yeah, we do. We need to take the fucking criminals out of office. We need to put average American citizens, average people from around the world and every country in control of these countries. Like I told you before, I'm the High King. I'm the High King of the battlefield. I allow my queens and my councils to mainly run everything, but I still keep an eye on everything. Don't think I won't come down on them if they make a mistake, because that's what my job is to make sure nobody is screwing with you. And this is what I'm trying to do. So there's tons of us out there. I mean, we're singers, we're actors, we're directors, we're writers, we're scientists, scholars, teachers, priests. We're everything. I'm a warsmith. I'm God of war. But I love to study other stuff. So I study everything. Plus, we're a giant collective. We learn from each other. And that's what you need to understand. That's what you people should be doing. You shouldn't be killing each other, claiming that you're different races because of a different color or a different version of the same religion or whatever. Whatever you think your problem is. Because if you're in an advanced society, you would learn to live together in peace, harmony, and joy, and learn from your differences because they will complete you to what you're supposed to be. And this is what they don't want. They don't want you to be completed. They don't want you to become what you're meant to be. This is why they're destroying all of your natural foods and medicines and your water and your air and your soil. This is why they're pumping GMOs on you, don't you see? Because they don't want you to become what you're supposed to be. They want you dead, don't you see? I mean, look how many people are dying around the world on a daily basis. I mean, come on, get a clue. And then they want to build laws and immigration, supposed immigration bans. It's another word for, in racism is all it is. It's another word for racism or whatever. But, yeah, it's all a big joke. It's all a big scam. You're the prisoners, and you're the slaves, and they're the slave masters. That's all there is to it. No matter how many ways you want to cut it, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you want to label it, you are the 99% slaves, and they are the less than 1% masters running the show. Say you go to a bank and you want to get a loan, you go in the bank, not everybody can get a loan because like I told you, you got to have good credit. Well, that's another thing too, when that company closes down and you ain't got a job and you go and they make you sell everything and then they won't allow for you to have cars. So now you got to let your car go back because that's not allowed in your budget on welfare. They don't allow for car payments. They don't allow for that. They don't allow for car insurance, so that's not in your budget. They're supposed to be helping you with. But without a car or a car insurance, how are you supposed to go get a job so you ain't got to be on welfare? And you got to be on welfare if you don't want to have $150 took out of your check for Medicare premiums that you already paid out of your checks the whole entire time you worked. It's all a big scam. So, but when this happens and you have to return your cars and stuff, guess what happens? Your credit rate goes down and your interest rate goes up. So now because they're forcing you to get rid of your cars and your insurance, and then when you do be able to get a junk car or something, you do put insurance, now you're paying high-risk insurance because your insurance now is based on your credit rating, which has absolutely nothing to do with your driving. Like I told you before, you could buy a $600 car, but if you don't have good credit, you're paying $1,800 a year just to drive that car, even though you only paid $600 for it. You're paying $1,800 a year just on insurance because you have bad credit. Well, so now they're forcing you to get rid of your cars and stuff because you need help that you pay for the whole entire time that you work for. They're making you get rid of your car, which means that now you defaulted on your loan. So now your credit's shot. So now your interest rates are going to go through the roof. Instead of paying 1% or 3%, you're now paying up to 30 and 35% or more on anything you need to get, which is taking even more money out of your pocket on what little income that you got, because good luck trying to find a job like you had. I was making $30 an hour. Good luck finding another job that's going to give you $30 an hour because you had 30 years invested in that $30 an hour. No, you got to start over at the next place. You got to start over at minimum wage, or you got to start over at a half point or somewhere, but it's nowhere as near what you're making now. So everything that you base your entire life on as an income for your budget and everything you own, you're losing all of it. You're losing everything. And most people end up on the street and they're the bums that you spit on every day. And they're just a victim of the stupid system that you guys allow to be in place. Wow. Like the banks, you go to the bank and get a loan, you ain't got good enough to credit. You could have your money in that bank 20, 30 years. That don't matter. You go in there and get a loan. Well, your interest, you don't have a good credit score, so we can't give you a loan. Even though the money that you put in their banks, because this is how banks work. Everybody that puts bank money in banks, they use your money, plus they create other money in credit lines that don't even exist because they're allowed to do that, like the Mint does. They create money. Okay? You can create money out of thin air. But they use the money that you got in your checking and savings accounts that you leave in there to roll over and build interest on, and they might give you maybe 1% or 3% or maybe 7% interest, but they're using this money to give out loans to people that they're making 25%, 35%, and 50% interest on. So they're taking your money and loaning it to other people that's got better credit than you do, or other people that's got credit as good as you do, but still taking your money, and they're loaning it to these other people at a higher interest rate, and they're making a killing off this higher interest rate because they're getting, say they get 35% on this car loan because this guy's got bad credit, so they can charge you 35%, and they're using your money to cover his car loan that you have in the savings account, because it's just a number in your book or on your paper or on your computer or whatever, And they're making 35% interest, but they're paying you 3% interest to have it in the savings. So you're making 3%, they're making 35%. They got a 32% profit, and it wasn't even their money invested. It was your money. Because this is how banks work. This is how our government works. Do you know for every dollar that the United States Mint prints, we are automatically like 6 to 10% in debt over top of that because they got to pay a percentage for the mint to print that money. So if they print a dollar is actually $1.06 or $1.10. So for every dollar that is printed and released into circulation, we are 6 to 10%, if not more now, in debt on every dollar printed already from the get-go. Why would you create a system that's costing you more money than you're making? It costs more money to print to stamp out a penny than what the penny's actually worth. Why would you do that? Because it's ignorant. Everything they do is ignorant. It's all about making money, and they don't care if they waste shit because it doesn't matter because they don't pay for anything because it all comes from you. Their families and their families before them and their families before them all stole from your family and your families before them and their families before them and their families before them to make these people rich to begin with. And then they twisted your religion and twisted your history and twisted your minds and twisted your beliefs and twisted your government system and wrote themselves more power in to create a scenario where they get an endless supply of wealth from you while you're starving to death and going without. And you ain't got a clue. This is what's going on. Come on. Yeah, I've got a really super high IQ, but come on, even the average person should be able to figure this out. Jeez. Like I said, man, I should invest in KY jelly because as much as you people get screwed on a daily basis by your leaders and politicians or whatever the hell they want to call themselves or pretend kings and queens and whatever, I'd probably be a zillionaire, a quadrillionaire. And we don't even want to try and give you them numbers to figure out. Like I say, I do calculations that calculators can't even do because simply they just don't have enough room to calculate the size of the problems that I can calculate. There's just not enough zeros on that bar. Wow. Anyway, it's crazy. Halloween's coming up. I love Halloween. Halloween's one of my favorite times of the year. It came from Ireland, you know, that tradition of Halloween. The jack o' lantern never used to be a pumpkin. Originally, it was a turnip that they hollowed out for the jack o' lantern. It's a kind of smaller version, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't a pumpkin to begin with. Nowadays, it's pumpkins. Yeah, but it used to be a turnip. And it used to be everybody got dressed up in the costumes so that when the evil witches and demons and spirits came out, that they could blend in and they wouldn't get robbed and steal their children and steal their souls and stuff and carry them off into the night. And they used to leave spice cakes at the door, for payment. Of course, the kids would run around and eat all the spice cakes and all the poor, but still, that's where Halloween started. All Hallows Eve. Yep, I love this time of the year. If you notice, this is usually the time of year that I allow myself to be seen, even though I wear my clown makeup. It's usually around Halloween that that I allow photos to be taken of me, but not the rest of the year, because there's only certain times that beings like me can appear. But actually, I mean, I'm more of a corporeal form nowadays. Ever since I got this new vessel. Boy, I'll tell you, it saddens me because like I told you, I see a lot of things. I go everywhere. I do a lot of things. I like to experience the sorrows that other beings have to endure on a daily basis. And sleeping in the cold, no heat, some living in boxes, some sleep in trash cans and get killed because they oversleep and the trash guy dumps them in there and grinds them up or crushes them. Sleeping in alleyways and people having to urinate in the alleyways and go to bathroom in the dumpsters and shit because our society is too ignorant to supply public bathrooms and make sure that our people are never living on the streets to begin with public housing and stuff because this is just unnecessary. Like in my pan plan, everything is designed so nobody will ever have to worry about being homeless. Nobody will ever go hungry. I mean, it's on a global scale. But you earn your keep. Like I told you, my dad taught me this a long time ago when I was young. You got to earn your keep. This means that we keep you, but you got to earn it. I don't have a problem with structuring a government where everybody can live comfortable. Everybody can have food in their cupboards and in their fridges. Everybody can go and have fun and enjoy themselves and take vacations and have time with the family as well as working too. I can design a utopia, but you got to allow me to do it. And it's not that hard, people, because the simple fact is, I'm not screwing you. My design is not to put money in my pocket like their design is. My design is to take care of you so you never have to want for anything, so you never have to need anything, so you never have to wish for anything, because you will have everything. You'll have everything you need, and all you do is you just work in replace of it. I give you this, you give me that. I give you this, you go do that. It's simple. It's just you work for it, but you get a fair wage. You don't get a minimum wage. So you get minimum, and they get everything else. You eat it up in forms of taxes and stuff, so you don't realize it. That you actually get paid next to nothing. I mean, they're basically just giving you a little bit for shelter and food. You know, in the old days, in the slaves, we had to house. They had to house the slaves. They had to feed the slaves. You know, and most of them they do. But if you don't feed them and you don't house them, they die, and then you ain't got slaves. Well, you know, they figured out a long time ago you can't do this, and we figured out a long time ago, you know, you can't allow them to do this. You can't allow them to be this way. You can't allow them to make you believe that you live in a society that you're not slaves in, because you are slaves. You're just paid slaves. You know, me, I'm giving you more than what they're ever going to give you. I'm giving you what you're supposed to get. I'm giving you a carefree life and a healthy environment that your children can grow and prosper in, with a good education and a good sound structure and a good foundation, because everything needs to be built on a strong foundation. And your society and your civilization is not built on a strong foundation. It's built on ignorance and stupidity and greed and lust, and you know, it's sin. You all live in sin. Everybody's got to have the shiny boblets. Everybody's got to have the sparkly jewels. Everybody's got to have the fancy cars that pollute your air and kill your descendants. Come on. You know why rich people, I told you why they value diamonds. It's because it's a joke. They wear it around their necks because their ancestors destroyed your ancient ancestors' rainforests, just like they're destroying your rainforests. Diamonds are ancient rainforest. Pretty soon, all the rainforests they're destroying will be their descendants' diamonds around their neck. You know, let me tell you a little something about opium. See, the opium product that you have now is a synthetic opium. But when you want to get down to the real nitty gritty of real opium, the real basic truth of it, the legends in China and other places is opium was known as the elixir of eternal life. That if you smoked opium, that you would live longer from smoking opium. But like I said, just like anything, you have people that have a mental disease and they become addicted to it, which that then everybody thinks it's the opium, it is the disease, and it's actually that person's mental mentality that makes them believe that they have to have that they cannot survive without it. Because I've smoked opium, I've never got addicted. I've done cocaine, never got addicted. I've done crack, never got addicted. I've done LSD, never got addicted. I used to eat 10, 12 hits of LSD at a time. And most people can't do that, but I'm not like you. Anyway, I used to smoke hashish and I smoke weed all the time. I still smoke weed. I'm actually legal for smoking weed. I'm a licensed caregiver and grower. As well. I'm many things, like I've said. I'm a herbalist. I come from a long line of herbalists and medicine people, and well, we've done everything. We've done everything you could think about, but witches, and warlocks, and alchemists, and sometimes I mess up and I say the wrong names on those, and I'm sorry for all you organizations out there if I happen to reference something with the wrong um, name with it. I try to correct myself and apologize, so just stick with me. But yeah, actually, I've done all that stuff, and none of that. It creates differences, chemicals, like I told you before, with the psilocybin and the mushrooms and stuff, And some of these drugs will create new neural pathways to create more higher brain function. And some of these drugs restructure your DNAs to make you to make you better than what you were. And this is the real reason why they're destroying all these rainforests and they're outlawing all these drugs and everything, and they're shoving all these synthetic poisons down your throat. Just like the natural foods that you've lived on for millions of years, they want you to believe is bad for you. Mother Nature's food is bad for you. The creator's food is bad for you, but they're synthetic crap and they're genetically modified. Vegetables and fruits and medicines are better for you. Genetically modified stands for genetically modified organism. That means you're literally putting a foreign organism into your body. It does not belong there because Mother Nature did not design it to be there. And this is why you're getting all these cancers and you're getting heart disease and diabetes. And they got it's these drugs and foods are designed to make it so you can't lose weight. That's how come most of the countries are becoming obese now. America is really like 80-90% of the people, I think it was. I haven't looked at it lately, but years ago it used to be like 90% of the people in America was obese. It's because these these fats and stuff and these modified synthetics and everything and these pesticides and insecticides and herbicides and these GMO products and everything is just tearing your whole body system up, and it's making it so you're retaining fat. It's not burning the fat like it should be. Your body's not functioning like it should be. Just like if you're, like I told you before on one of my other recordings, if you're craving sweets and stuff, this is because you have parasites and worms and stuff that are living inside of you. If you can't lose weight and stuff, it's because you have parasites and worms inside of you living inside of you because you're not eating the right diet that normally kills these things and flushes them out of your system. Just like I've told you about the fecal matter that builds up in your bowels and stuff, like Marion Morris, John Wayne, his real name was Marion Morris. Um, he had like 35 or 45 pounds of decayed fecal matter. That's poop that was left inside of his intestines, and it just sets in there. And what it does is it sets in there and rots and rots and rots and rots, and then all your other organs, everything, are leaning up against this, and it makes them sick. Well, the reason why it's in there is because you're not supposed to have that in your body to begin with. For one thing, like I've told you, you don't have a digestive system of a carnivore. You have a digestive system of a herbivore. You should be eating plants and fruits and vegetables and nuts and berries and barks and leaves and stuff like that, and not be eating meat because you're not designed to eat meat. You can tell because when you dissect something and you look at the digestive system, you can tell the difference between the carnivore digestive system, like I've told you previously, is a real shorter version of a digestive system, so the meat goes through faster and it don't set in decay, to where you have a more herbivore kind of digestive system where you eat plants and stuff because you got a longer digestive system. So when you eat meat and it gets stuck in there because you're not flushing your body out, you can flush this out, but you shouldn't be eating meat at all, to tell you the truth, because you're not supposed to, because that's the way your digestive system is set up. You're not a carnivore. You're supposed to be eating fruit. You're supposed to be eating vegetables. You're supposed to be eating nuts, leaves, all that stuff. Anything but meat. But, we love meat because we've become accustomed to eating it over a period of time. And my theory is just because when the Ice Age come, that was the only thing that was left to eat was all this giant deep freezer of meat. And what you got to look at, the Ice Age happened so fast, everything flash froze. So when you flash freeze something, it stays, we could literally take something that was flash frozen millions of years ago, and if you do it right, you can unthaw and bring it back to life again. This is where cryostasis and cryogenics and all that comes from, because cryogenics is the freezing of dead tissue, and cryostasis is basically the freezing of living tissue. Okay, but that's where we got the idea of that from, and I'll explain some stuff onto you about that and some other modifications to these to the body that can be made, that they're going to be making, but that I could also make, but it'd be better. But we'll get into all that later because we're coming up to the end of the show. It's going on 60 minutes, which is an hour. So I just want to, I just sometimes I just get things on my mind and I get bored and I just have to run my mouth. And like I said, right now I'm living out there with the people on the streets and stuff, so there's not a whole lot to do. No TV to watch, no internet. I get on my phone once in a while, once a month or maybe a week or so. I might get on my Facebook and drop some messages or say a few words, and then I'm gone again. But I love you all, and I want you to take care, and you all have a good day.